At 04:15 hours this morning, NATO kicked off their Sea Shield 2026 exercise with 2,500 personnel aboard 48 ships from 13 nations. And within 6 hours, Russia's Black Sea Fleet had been effectively neutralized as a dominant regional power, forced to relocate from Sevastopol to Novorossiysk. Russian Navy vessels are no longer safe even in their refuge at Novorossiysk. Submarines are often submerging at their berths. To reduce visibility to Ukrainian drones and protective seawalls have become a cage. Now let's see what NATO's 20 unmanned systems are actually hunting for beneath the waves. At precisely 04:15 UTC, the Black Sea's horizon fractured under the weight of an alliance in motion. NATO's Sea Shield 2026 did not arrive quietly. 2,500 personnel, drawn from 13 nations, surged forward aboard 48 ships and 64 armored vehicles. This was not a symbolic gesture. This was mass, coordination, and intent delivered at scale. The multinational task group advanced in a formation that left no ambiguity. Romania's Regula Ferdinand steamed at the front, flanked by the British-built former HMS Coventry and 3 U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, each a $2.5 billion fortress bristling with the AN/SPY-6 radar, able to track thousands of targets across air and sea. The convoy's composition was a statement of operational depth. Frigates from Canada, Germany, and Spain held the outer screen. Dutch and Polish fast attack craft darted along the flanks. Amphibious landing ships from Italy and Bulgaria, loaded with MRAPs and infantry fighting vehicles, maneuvered for rapid shore insertion. Overhead, NATO's maritime patrol squadrons orbited in tight patterns, feeding live ISR data into a joint command net that spanned the entire theater. But the real revolution rode lower and deeper. 20 unmanned systems, surface drones, underwater vehicles, and orbital-linked reconnaissance assets fanned out beneath and beyond the manned fleet. The Sea Viper X-200s swept the surface for mines and shadowed potential saboteurs. Literal AUVs, equipped with synthetic aperture sonar and magnetometers, mapped the seabed down to the last meter, searching for anomalies near pipeline corridors. 6 orbital drones relayed high-resolution SAR imagery, updating every pass every hour. These autonomous assets operated on swarm protocols, retasking themselves in real time, immune to jamming and able to act without waiting for human command. The scale was unmistakable, but the message was even clearer. The era of single-nation dominance in the Black Sea is over. In the space of 6 hours, 48 ships and an armada of autonomous hunters turned the region's maritime logic upside down. No Russian admiral could mistake the intent. This was not a rehearsal. This was a live demonstration of collective force, technological superiority, and the ability to neutralize a fleet without firing a traditional broadside. The countdown to irreversibility had begun, and every minute past 04:15 pressed the Black Sea Fleet further toward the edge. 0800 hours, the Black Sea Fleet is gone from Sevastopol, not scattered, not dispersed. Evacuated on direct order. Russian Ministry of Defense cables, time-stamped and explicit, demanded every combat vessel out of Crimea's historic port by this hour. Satellite sweeps at 0745 confirmed the piers stood stripped bare. The last Kilo-class submarine already slipping beneath the reinforced seawalls at Novorossiysk. No ceremony, no defiant last stand, just the cold logic of survival under the eyes of an alliance that now controls every surface, every depth, every wavelength. This is not a routine redeployment. It is a forced maneuver, executed under pressure from a multinational convoy whose composition reads like a war college syllabus. 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, each bristling with the AN/SPY-6 radar, an active array with the power to track over 2,000 targets at once, sweeping the Black Sea in pulses that reach farther and see clearer than anything Russia can field. On the Russian side, the MR-10M1 early warning radar, once the backbone of Sevastopol's air defense, remains crippled. Its range and reliability a shadow of the American system. The contrast is not generational, it is epochal. On one side, a networked alliance fusing drone, satellite, and shipboard sensors into a seamless real-time battle space. On the other, a fleet forced to hide its most valuable submarines behind concrete and steel, submerging at berth just to avoid detection by unmanned hunters. The consequences are immediate and irreversible. With the 0800 deadline met, every Russian warship of consequence is now penned in Novorossiysk, a port built for logistics, not forward power projection. The Kilo-class submarines, Russia's last credible strike assets, are kept at periscope depth even while docked, their crews living in a state of permanent alert, engines hot, hatches sealed. The surface fleet, what remains of it, is confined to coastal defense, stripped of the initiative that once defined Russian naval doctrine in the Black Sea. The old playbook, area denial from Sevastopol layered with overlapping radar and missile coverage, is obsolete in the face of a sensor web that leaves no blind spots and no sanctuary. The message is unmistakable. NATO's presence has not just neutralized the Black Sea Fleet, it has forced a doctrinal collapse. The era of single-nation dominance, of static bastions and predictable lines has ended. Now, the only Russian strategy left is to wait. Wait behind seawalls, wait beneath the surface, wait for a window that may never come. But with every hour that passes, the strategic countdown accelerates. The question hangs in the air: can Putin simply wait this out, or has the Black Sea already slipped beyond his reach? At 1200 hours, Russian control of the Black Sea had already unraveled. The unraveling began in April 2022, when a Ukrainian Neptune missile struck the cruiser Moskva, sending the pride of the Black Sea Fleet to the bottom. That loss shattered the illusion of Russian naval invulnerability. Ukrainian innovation followed with the Magura 5, a sea drone built for less than a single Russian cruise missile, yet able to carry 700 pounds of explosives. These drones slipped past aging radars, crippling or destroying 26 Russian vessels by the end of 2025, one-third of the fleet gone. On December 15, 2025, the Sea Baby drone infiltrated Novorossiysk and detonated beneath a Kilo-class submarine, silencing Russian sonar. The psychological toll was immediate. By February 2025, Admiral Vladimir Kornilov was dismissed and replaced by Admiral Sergei Krylov, who inherited a fleet in hiding. Ukrainian strikes blinded Russian surveillance at Sevastopol. By the time NATO arrived, the Black Sea Fleet was a shadow, its losses exposed, its shield over energy routes broken. 1,500 hours. The Black Sea has become more than a naval theater. It is now the nerve center of European energy security. Beneath the waves, the Turk Stream pipeline stretches 930 kilometers from Anapa to Kyiv, pumping 31.5 billion cubic meters of Russian gas each year straight into the arteries of Europe. For years, this pipeline was Moscow's silent weapon, a lever to squeeze or reward, a bargaining chip no admiral could ignore. But the old rules have collapsed. Today, every meter of Turk Stream's seabed route falls under the constant gaze of NATO's unmanned sentinels. Autonomous underwater vehicles sweep the corridor, mapping the pipeline's contour at 1-meter resolution, relaying live telemetry to a command net that never sleeps. Surface drones patrol above, immune to fatigue and impervious to weather, able to respond to anomalies within minutes. This is not just surveillance. It is persistent, automated control. The era of blind spots is over. Any attempt at sabotage, any covert action will be detected, tracked, and intercepted before a single cubic meter of gas is lost. The pipeline has become a choke point not for NATO, but for Russia itself. With the Black Sea Fleet confined to Novorossiysk and stripped of forward power, the threat has inverted. The infrastructure Moscow once used as leverage now stands exposed, monitored by a multinational alliance whose reach extends from the surface to the seabed. Energy, once Russia's trump card, is now a liability, its flows hostage to a surveillance regime that Moscow cannot disrupt, only endure. The Black Sea's balance of power has shifted from ships to sensors, from fleets to data, and the consequences ripple far beyond the horizon. 2,000 hours. The verdict is in. The Black Sea Fleet, once the backbone of Russian power projection, now exists as a fleet in name only, stripped of initiative, locked behind reinforced seawalls, and forced into a posture of permanent defense. NATO and Ukrainian coordination has not just rewritten the rules of engagement, it has erased the old playbook entirely. The technological gap is not generational. It is epochal. Autonomous systems, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. And multinational command nets have achieved what a century of battleships could not: total strategic neutralization without a single broadside. The numbers are not just statistics, they are the new reality. 48 Allied ships, 20 unmanned hunters, a pipeline corridor under constant Allied surveillance, and 1/3 of the Russian fleet destroyed or disabled. This is not a pause. This is not a redeployment. This is the irreversible collapse of single-nation dominance in the Black Sea. The question is no longer whether Putin can wait this out. The question is, what does it mean to lose the sea not by defeat in battle, but by the relentless advance of coordinated, networked, unmanned power? That is the Black Sea's new order. Decide for yourself. Can the old doctrine ever return, or is this the permanent verdict? Tonight, NATO's 2,500 personnel, 48 ships, and 20 unmanned systems stand unchallenged. 1/3 of Russia's Black Sea fleet is gone. The technological gap isn't generational, it's epochal. Naval power is being rewritten in real time. Can Putin wait this out? Drop your perspective below.